Julia. Today is my birthday, so I wanted to film a get ready with me birthday edition. Today is my 27th birthday and I really wanted to film a look for tonight, and this is actually the makeup I'm going to be wearing tonight for my birthday. So if you want to see how I got this look, then please keep watching. Okay guys, so starting with a bare face, and I already did my brows, and I do plan on filming a video showcasing how I do my brows because it actually has changed a lot from when I first started doing makeup. I changed my technique and I will definitely be filming a video on how I do my brows. So today is my birthday. I'm 27 years old. I can't believe it. In my head I still feel like I'm 21, but I'm 27, and I thought that I would do a little get ready with me. I have this little headband in my hair. It keeps just the hair away from my face while I'm doing makeup so I don't get it in my hair. And I'm going to be doing, I feel like I want to do a pinky, sparkly look. If you know me, I love glitter, I love sparkles. So I think I'm going to be using this Naked Cherry palette from Urban Decay. The colors are so pretty. They have like that mauve-y pink tone and they're really good quality. I'm going to start with the color Feels. This is a JH30 brush. It's really big and fluffy and it's really good to just get in the crease. So as you can see, you want to always start with a lighter color for the crease because that's just how you buff it out and everything just is more seamless that way. So this Feels color is really nice because it's like a soft muted mauve-y pink. And that is the look that I'm going for today. For my birthday, I'm just doing a simple dinner with some friends and family. Honestly, nowadays, birthdays are just overrated. I don't know if it's the older I'm getting, the less I really care about them. As long as I'm with family and friends, that's all that matters to me. I always do my eyeshadow before my foundation. I know some of you may think that's weird, but I'm just so used to it because I feel like I get a lot of follow and I like to clean. You'll see at the end what I do. I usually clean it with like a wet nap or something, and it just like really cleans everything nicely and it makes it look more refined. So I'm going to use Devilish in the crease now. The Morphe & Jaclyn Hill JH37 brush. So this shade is definitely, it's deeper and I'm just putting it along the outer edges. And I think I want to do a cut crease today because I've been doing them a lot lately and I just find I have kind of small lids and I find that it opens up my eyes and just makes my lid look bigger, and it's just fun to do. So I'm going to take this darker color and put it on the outer corners and on the inner corners because I'm going to do a cut crease more in the middle. So I want the inner corner to have some darkness as well. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of fallout because I kind of bring my shadow really close to the edges because I always clean it up with a wet nap. So it'll look, trust me, it'll come together in the end. Right now, we're looking a little crazy, but it'll come together. So as I said, I added that dark color Devilish just to darken the crease. And now I'm going to go back with that color Feels just to blend everything out and make sure it's seamless again. Honestly, doing eyeshadow, it's very important to keep blending. It takes some time and practice, but once you get the hang of it, it'll just come very naturally to you. So since I am going to be doing a cut crease, I want to actually darken it out with this color Privacy, because once you add the cut crease, you really want to make sure that you see it, because sometimes if your shadow colors are too light, the cut crease won't pop as much, and you really want it to pop. I'm using another Morphe & Jaclyn Hill brush. I didn't realize how many of these brushes I use, but they're actually really good. This is JH40. You can see it's like just like a thinner tapered brush. I'm going to go around the inner and outer corners and just add some more dimension there. Because this is a night look, I'm going out for dinner, so I just want to have a bit more of dramatic eyes. Honestly, I always wear a lot of eye makeup, even if it's during the day, but because I just like to have fun and play with eye makeup. When you have so much makeup like I do, it's kind of a waste not to use it. A lot of people, when I go out, they're like, oh, if it's during the day, if I'm going to the mall or something, they're like, oh, are you like going anywhere tonight? Did you have like an event? And sometimes I'm embarrassed, but I'm like, no, I just like to play with makeup because it's honestly my passion. It's so fun. So I'm now grabbing this Sigma E25 blending brush. This is like a classic brush, like from back in the day. And I'm just gonna go in and blend that darker Privacy color because I packed it on with that smaller brush, and now I just want to make sure it's blended in there. Now, if you have to go back and just keep blending, you could even use that same color we initially used, the Feels and the Juicy color. You can just go back in, make sure that the darker color is seamless in there, and you just keep blending until you feel like it looks good. And don't worry about all the fallout we have here, and on the inner corner it's a bit darker, it'll all come together. So now we're going to be doing a cut crease. I'm going to be doing it more towards the middle of my eye, not going on the inner corner, but just more in the middle. And as I said before, I have a smaller eyelid, so this really opens up my eyes and makes me look like I have a nice big lid. It's very important to have like a super thin and flat brush for this. For me, this is like my favorite brush. I don't have another one like it, so I want to make sure that I don't ruin this one or lose it, because I'm gonna have to be on the hunt for another brush. This is my favorite brush to cut the crease. I think it was from BH Cosmetics. I like to use a concealer for this. This is the ColourPop concealer. It's in their white color, so this is Fair 00. I'm gonna take some of it on my brush. You don't need too much because sometimes it could ruin your eyeshadow if it's like a big, too much concealer. I really want to zoom in because I want to show you guys how I get this technique. So I start in the middle and I do it just a bit above my crease. I mean, you can go as high as you want. Sometimes even looking up, you can see like where your lid will hit it. So I'm gonna be loosely blending that out just a little bit so we don't have harsh concealer edges. Okay guys, so now we have the cut crease carved out. We're going to put something glittery on the lid because that's the look I'm going for, and I want to do a pinkish glitter. And I have this beautiful eyeshadow set here from Hank and Henry Beauty. Underneath there is a loose pigment, which is stunning. It's a bit messy because it is a loose glitter, but you can just see how gorgeous that color is. So since it is a loose pigment, I always like to use primer, and I love this NYX glitter primer. So I'm going to be applying that with the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH41 brush. So I honestly just put it on the back of my brush, and then I'm going to pack that on the lid. Okay, so now that we have all of our pigment on the lid, I'm going to just darken the edges again because you want it to look a bit more seamless along the inner and outer corners. So I'm just gonna go back in with the shade Devilish that we used previously in the crease, and I'm going to put that on the inner and outer corners just to blend it a little bit. This wasn't the darkest color we used because I want to kind of showcase that mauve-y, purpley color a little bit on the lid as well, as the pigment pops out through the middle, and I feel like it just makes it look more smooth because sometimes darker colors can get a bit patchy, so I'm just using that medium color Devilish. Okay, so now we need to clean up all of the fallout that has fallen, and this happens to me a lot because I guess I have a bit of a rough hand when I'm doing makeup, and I do get a lot of fallout, and it just honestly doesn't even depend on the type of eyeshadow I use. I just end up getting a lot of fallout, so that's why I always do my eyeshadow first. Literally try to get as much sparkle off, and I kind of use my nail in a way and just clean up the edges and wing it out. This is the NYX Cosmetics Epic Ink Liner. So you can see it's pretty much cleaned up. You can see how using that wet wipe, and I just took it along the edges to clean everything up, and it created kind of its own cat eye without having to use a liquid liner. So lashes are my last step, and now we're going to prime the face. Now my main concern is pores. Around my T-zone and my nose, I have a lot of pores, so I like to use pore filling primers specifically around that area. This is I think it's new, it's the E.L.F. Cosmetics Poreless Putty Primer. And I really like this primer. I know it's comparable to the Tatcha one. I haven't tried that one, but this one is like $8 and it's like a quarter of the price of the Tatcha one, and I'm all about less expensive dupes. So I was so excited when I saw this product and I snagged it when I could, because I know that it was pretty hard to find. So I'm just grabbing a bit of that on my hand and I'm going to put it around my T-zone. Now for foundation, I'm going to be using more of a higher end foundation. This was actually sent to me and I've become such a fan. I'm like addicted to this foundation, but I want to use it sparingly, so I usually save it for special occasions like today on my birthday. And these are the NARS foundations. These are the Natural Radiant Longwear foundations. But I like to mix and match my foundation colors because, as you can kind of see, my face is whiter than my neck because I use self-tanner, but I don't really put it on my face because when I wash my face, I use like exfoliating toners and it just wouldn't really make sense. Sometimes I do, but I usually just keep my face whiter. So I like to match my foundation according to my body. So I'm a bit more tan than my face. So I'm going to mix the two shades, Santa Fe and Patagonia. I think this is a good match. And as you can see, I'm pouncing the foundation into my skin. I'm not like dragging it around. You want to pounce it more because I find that it gives you better coverage. And this foundation it's a beautiful like satiny feel and finish, and it's a pretty good coverage. I'd say it's medium to full. Okay, so the foundation is on. I think it's a pretty good match. We're gonna do concealer because it's one of the most important steps, and I love concealer, I love concealing. And I'm going to use the ColourPop concealers. Like I mix my foundation, I also like to mix my concealers, just depending because sometimes one concealer just won't be the right tone, because I self-tan, sometimes I'll be really pale, sometimes I'll be more tan. So I mix concealers a lot and foundations. It's just what I like to do. So I'm going to be mixing Medium Dark by ColourPop and Light 14. So I'm going to start off with the darker one. As you can see, that darker one first, it's a bit more of a peachy tone and that helps dark circles. This is my favorite for blending out foundation, concealer. I know that there's a lot of dupes, but none of them really have this consistency. It's just light and fluffy, and this is a staple. You need a beauty blender when you're doing makeup and blending out concealer. This is by RCMA. It's the No Color Powder. I think it's the No Color Powder. And I actually put it in a different container because I had it in like a tub. I got it like back in the day in a tub. So I used this, I think this was a Ben Nye container. Really good because it's almost like a baby powder one. It's easy to come out, it's not messy. You only need very little, and I'm going to set my under eyes with that. So I'm just gonna put it right under my eyes. I'm gonna bake a bit. We're gonna brush that off after and it'll be good. So to set the rest of my face while we're baking this under the eyes, I'm going to use the NARS Soft Velvet Pressed Powder in the shade Mountain. It's a bit dirty, but just looks like that. I am going to be going out a bit later. I really want my makeup to last. So I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush. This is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH01 brush. I'm just gonna make sure I get all around my face. Bit of my nose. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so now we're going to bronze. I'm using the M.A.C Cosmetics Give Me Sun Bronzer. This is one of my favorite bronzers and you can get it at any M.A.C store. I like to place the bronzer on the cheeks, just below where the cheekbones are, along the forehead, along the nose, a bit under the chin, all the places where you just want to give that dimension back to your face. We are bronzed, and now I'm going to just contour a little bit lightly. I'm not gonna do crazy contour, just a little bit. I'm gonna use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. It's a bronzer, but I use it to contour. And I'm going to be using the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH04 brush. I'm using this contour to just deepen the cheekbones a bit, add a little bit more dimension, because the bronzer was more just to give more warmth to the face, and this is to kind of give more dimension. So I'm also going to be using a bit of that bronzer just lightly on the tip of my nose, because this is actually what I do to contour my nose a bit without having to like make the lines. I'll show you my new technique that I've been doing a lot lately. Do that lightly. I'm going to be highlighting my nose with concealer, and this is actually a technique that I learned from Crispy. She's on YouTube, she also has an Instagram, she's amazing, and she uses the technique of actually contouring your nose with concealer, so you're kind of using less of like lining the nose with like a darker contour, but you're more bringing out the slimness of your nose with the concealer. I hope that makes sense. So I'm using the ColourPop concealer in light 14. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this with this Zoeva. It's a 230 brush. And I'm going to just be putting a very small amount. So you don't need too much. I'm going to be making a little dot right here. So now that we have the concealer on, I like to use a highlighter, more of like a light highlighter. You don't want something deep because you really want it to pop. So I love this Makeup Revolution palette. I forget the name of this, but I will list it down in the description box below. I'll list everything I used. I'm going to use a bit of this on a Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH42 brush, and I'm just going to take a bit of that highlighter, go back and forth on the tip of the nose. Just makes your nose look like cuter, more snatched. I like to just leave a bit of darkness here, so it's like, it just looks cuter in my opinion. And now we can wipe off that baking that we've done, because as you can see, it's still under my eyes. And I'm going to use a Morphe E53 brush, blend around the sides, even blend a bit of that contour, just make sure everything is blended. Okay, so now for blush. Let's blush these cheeks up. I love blush, and I actually have a new favorite blush that I was actually sent by BUXOM Cosmetics. This is their Wanderlust Primer-Infused blush in the shade Seychelles. I love it. It just gives like a gorgeous glow. I'm just gonna put it along the apples of the cheeks. And they're just stunning blushes. They're one of my favorites. I feel like I haven't been really impressed with a blush in a long time, but these ones are beautiful. They're not like shimmery, but they just give your cheeks like a glow in the most beautiful way. To blend that out a bit, I'm going to go back with the Morphe E53 brush that I used to take off that baking powder, the baking powder to take off the translucent powder. And I'm just kind of making sure that it's blended along here. You want it to look natural enough, but you also want to be able to see it. We're going to finish the eye look by doing the lower lash line, and I like to buff it out a bit and have it look and have it just have that like faded look to it. And I have these two brushes. They're also Morphe Jaclyn Hill brushes. I didn't do this on purpose to use all Morphe brushes, but I actually have a lot of them in my collection. They were sent to me, but I'm not affiliated with them. I just really love their brushes, and they're affordable and they're good, and that's all I have to say. So these are the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brushes, JH38 and JH39. One's a bit thinner and one is a bit thicker. So I'm going to start with the thinner one, which is the JH39 brush, and I'm going to take the shade Devilish that we took in the beginning, and I'm going to just put that on the lower lash line, all over, like so. I'm going to be blending it out with the bigger JH38 with the shade Feels. That was the first color that we put in the crease. So as you can see, it's blended out, and I feel like that just completes the look. And now I'm going to use a ColourPop eyeliner. This is in the shade Jet. And I really love the ColourPop eyeliners. I find that they stay in the waterline amazingly. So I'm going to be putting that in my waterline. And this is just a beautiful warm brown shade. And I find that it goes with the eyeshadows that we've chosen. Okay, so that ColourPop eyeliner is in the waterline. And now we could highlight the inner corner of the eye, which really makes a difference. I find that it makes the eyeshadow look just come together and pop. For that, I'm going to be using another ColourPop product. This is their Super Shock Cheek shadow, I guess, in the shade Flexitarian. And at the same time, while you're doing that, you're kind of blending in the inner corner a bit as well. Sometimes you can get a bit of darkness on the inner corner, and you kind of want to make sure it's buffed out. So now it's time to highlight. I'm going to actually spray my face first with this Rose Glow Mist from Pixi. And I like to make sure my face is a bit wet before I put on my highlighter because I find that it sticks a lot better. This is definitely a trick if you want your highlighter to pop. I know that they still have this highlighter in the M.A.C stores. So this is called Oh Darling. It's like a gorgeous golden color. So I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 highlighting brush. This is like a gorgeous wet looking highlighter. Okay guys, so one of the final steps before we do the lipstick is putting on lashes, and I find that lashes just complete the look. I've totally become a lash addict ever since I started wearing lashes. I honestly can't stop, and people make fun of me because I can just be honestly running errands and I'll still put on a pair of lashes. It's an addiction, so be warned. If you're gonna start wearing lashes, be prepared to be addicted to wearing them. And these lashes are actually, they were a pair that I got from eBay, but I like love them because they're so wispy. And I put some Duo lash glue on. This is one of my favorite lash glues. Now, I know putting on lashes for some people can be really intimidating, but practice really does make perfect, and I promise that if you keep doing it and practicing, you will get way more comfortable. So the last step to complete this makeup look is, of course, a lip product. I'm going to be doing a glossy lip. For the past year, I've been really into glossy lips again. I kind of lost that passion because liquid lips came out. That was all the rage, and I just wouldn't wear anything but liquid lipsticks. But now I'm back to loving glossy lips. So I feel like a glossy lip will look really good with this eye look. To start, I always use a lip liner. Some people don't really use lip liner. I find that lip liner is so underrated because I can't use any lip product without lip liner. So I'm actually going to be mixing a couple today. This is the Rimmel Full Color Lip Liner Definer in the shade 034 Mocha. And I'm going to lighten it up a bit with this ColourPop one in the shade Wild Nothing. And I also love the ColourPop lip liners. If you want a good affordable lip liner, the ColourPop ones are amazing, and also the Rimmel one's cheap. You could find this in drugstores, at least I know in Canada. I'm not sure about the States, but I love to overline my lips, so I will show you guys how I do that. And I'm just going to fill that in. I'm going to be using, I have this cute little sample size of the BUXOM White Russian gloss, and I've heard a lot about this gloss. I know it's been around for a while. I've never tried it until recently, and I love it. It has like a minty, like a peppermint feel to it. It like burns your lips a bit, but I think it's like to plump your lips as well, so if you're looking for that. And then I'm also going to add this Morphe Mesmerize gloss. It's like one of those metallic glosses on top. I'm placing that more towards the middle area because I want more of the shiny metallic to be more in the middle. It also has the effect to make your lips look bigger, so that's a great trick. So there's my final look, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or requests, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer anything that I can. Also, keep in mind that I posted all the info and products in the description down below, so pay attention to that if you want to know more details on things, and I'll be sure to link everything that I can for you guys. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!